this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to crochet our bulky and quick elf hat pattern. The bulky and quick elf hat pattern comes in baby, toddler, child, ladies, and men's sizing, so you can make one for the whole family. I'll be showing you how to make our baby size today. The yarn that you'll need for this pattern is Bernat Softee Chunky. I've used 3 colors for this pattern. The band is worked in forest. The striping rows are worked in wine and white. The original pattern was worked in eucalyptus, but you can no longer get eucalyptus, so I've shown it with forest instead, which is still a great green option for this pattern. You'll need a jumbo size clover PomPom maker to make this nice big large pom-pom, or you can use your hand or cardboard to make a pom-pom as well. You'll need a 9mm crochet hook, a yarn needle for bulky weight yarn, and then I also have a personalized tag with the leather rivets here to attach it. So the elf hat is worked from the bottom up. We're going to start with the ribbed band. Now I like to crochet this band fairly tight. If you are a loose crocheter and you want to drop down to maybe an 8mm hook for the band, that will work just fine. But I usually just try to make sure that I crochet the band up a little bit tight. So we're going to start with a slip knot on our hook, and we'll chain a total of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll work a single crochet in the second chain from the hook and in every chain across. Okay, so we have a total of 4 stitches. Chain 1 in turn. Now for row 2, we're working in the back loops only across. So we'll work a single crochet through the back loop only and work in the back loop only of every stitch across. Okay, so then we'll chain 1 in turn, and we're going to repeat row 2 throughout until we have a total of 28 rows. So each row is worked in single crochet stitches in the back loop only, and you should have 4 stitches for each row. So I'm going to continue working up till I have 28 rows, and then we'll meet back up again. Okay, so with a little bit of stretch, it should measure out to about 14 inches. And that will stretch more as well when it's being worn. Okay, so next what you'll do is chain 1. We're folding the band together, and then we're going to slip stitch it to join. So I like to work through the back loop and then going through the chain, the starting chain. And we'll just slip stitch that together. We'll chain 1, and you can flip that seam to the inside so you have a nice seamless join. Next, we'll work single crochet stitches around the band, and we're going to be working 1 per row, so you should have a total of 28 stitches. So 1, 2, and now a little tip for knowing where to work into. Here is your 1 row. You're going to have that thicker section here to work through. The next row is right here, and you'll see there's just a little loop here to work into. Okay, and then we come to, again, this row. It's going to be a bit thicker to work through, and then the little loop again, and that'll keep you on track, but just count as you go as well. Okay, so I'm working around here. I'm going to end with my 28th stitch. And then I'll slip stitch in the first single crochet to join, but we're going to change color on that slip stitch join. Now I'm going to cut color A, which is my green because we're finished with it, and I'm going to bring in color B, which is our red. So we're going to change colors on this slip stitch join. Now we'll chain 2, and we're going to work a half double crochet in every stitch around. Our chain 2 is not included as a stitch, and just to get rid of some of these, eliminate a little weaving on the tails, I'm going to crochet over them here as I go. So our half double crochet is worked by yarning over, go through the stitch, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, so I'll work that all the way around. Okay, so I like to count to make sure that I'm on track. So I have 28 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch in the first half double crochet to join. And we'll work another round of red, color B, so we'll chain 2. Now what I find with half double crochet worked in the round is that we tend to get a curve that wants to go this way with the pattern. So just to help fix that a little bit, we're going to just do a little trick here. So instead of working into the first stitch, we're going to skip that first stitch and work into the next stitch, and then we'll end with 2. Now just make sure that you do count as you work these rounds by doing that so that you don't mess it up and miss a stitch. So I'm just going to count as I work around. Okay, so I've worked 27 stitches and I need to do another in the last stitch. Because we skipped the first stitch, we're going to add another stitch, and it's going to help to keep the half double crochet rounds, the join line, straight. So now we're going to change color on the slip stitch join. So you need to find, don't slip stitch into the chain. You need to find that first half double crochet stitch, and then we're going to bring in our color C, which is white. So I'm going to pull through with white. What you just want to make sure is you tug your tails nice and tight. Now we'll chain 2. So you can see we've slip stitched here. We're skipping over that very first stitch, and I'm going to crochet over that tail. I'm going to work into the next stitch. And I'll keep track again of my stitches as I go around. And I'll meet you up at the join again. Okay, so I'm at 27 stitches. We'll add an extra stitch in the last stitch. Pull through, we'll slip stitch in that first half double crochet to join. Make sure you get under the 2 loops. Now one thing you can do as well to help hide this, we're going to pull this up as we go, but you can, in the first stitches, you can crochet over that tail just to help hide it up the back. So let's chain 2. And then we'll work half double crochets around. Okay, so I've worked 27 stitches. I'm going to work my 28th, and we'll change color on the slip stitch join. I'm going to drop off the white, pick up the red, pull it through, tighten up your tail, chain 2. So now I can crochet over my white tail on that first stitch. So we're skipping this stitch, going to the next one. If you want to carry that up, just crochet over it on the first stitch. Now this time we're going to be starting our decrease pattern. So instead of adding the extra stitch at the end, we're now going to reduce each round by just 1 stitch. So we're skipping the first stitch of every round, and then we'll reduce each round by 1 stitch. You can see here, this is one of my smaller size, so the join's really straight, but for the bigger ones, it'll be more noticeable. And then continuing to skip every stitch is going to keep the join line straight as we work around. So this time we should have 27 stitches. Okay, so here's my 27th stitch, but we're not adding an extra this time because we're beginning to decrease. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch to join. I'll chain 2, and again I'm going to crochet over that white tail in the next stitch. And we're going to reduce this round now to a total of 26 stitches. Okay, so now we're going to be changing color again. So I've finished with 26 stitches, and we'll change color on the slip stitch join. Make sure the tails are nice and tight. Chain 2, skip the first stitch, and continue around. So we're just repeating this now for the rest of the hat. We're reducing every round by 1 stitch. Our color pattern is going to continue in doing 2 of color B and then 2 of color C. So I'll pop up directions now on how many rounds in total to do for the baby size. And once I have that completed, I'll meet you back up again. Okay, so I'm finishing off with only 6 stitches. So I've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26 rounds in total. We can cut the white off. Now I'm going to stick that inside, and I'll have to weave that tail in. And slip stitch to join, fasten off. And then use your yarn needle for bulky yarn. Okay, and we're going to weave through the front loops only around, and this is just going to close the hole. Okay, so now I can just weave in my tail and just flip your hat inside out and weave in any of your tails. It's always good to go back in the opposite direction once you weave one way. Okay, so you can see our joins nice and straight up the back. And I'm just going to get rid of any of these tails inside. Okay, so I make sure I have my seam at the back, and next I'm going to add on one of my tags. The kit that I have linked in my Amazon shop, it does have the tools for hammering. You just need to have a hammer as well to hammer these. Okay, I'm just gonna snap it for now, and then off camera I will hammer that to secure it. Okay, and then next we're going to make the pom-pom. So this jumbo size is quite big for the baby hat, but I just really love the big pom-pom, so I'm still gonna do the big one even for the baby size. It's nice to take your yarn from the outside of the ball. It's not as wrinkled as the inside yarn. And you need about 25 grams roughly to make one of these pom-poms. So depending on what you have left, figure on about 25 grams. Okay, so what you're gonna do is take your arms. Okay, we're opening them up like this. Then you're just going to wrap the yarn around. Once you start going, it'll keep everything secure. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep wrapping until I fill this up. Okay, and once we fill one side, you can just trim the yarn. Snap that into place. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing with this arm. Okay, we'll snap that together. Okay, next we're going to trim. All of the strands. You're going to take your yarn and you wrap it through the grooves. Go around once, go back around twice, and that's going to secure that knot when you pull it in so it doesn't loosen. We'll knot that, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. So go once, go twice. Okay, now just open it up. Give it a nice fluff, and it makes a perfect pom-pom. You're only going to have the odd little one that you need to trim. So it's really quick and easy with a little mess. And you can use the PomPom Maker for so many things, other crafts as well. So it is great to have them. It took me a long time to buy a PomPom Maker, and I thought, why didn't I do this sooner? This is so much easier. So here's the finished pom-pom. I just weighed this one. So this one's about 21.5, 22 grams, so a little bit smaller than my last one. Now I use the yarn tails to then attach it to the top of the hat. So you're going to take your yarn needle, and I'm going to stick my hand up here to pull that through. Okay. So now I flip my hat inside out. You're going to want to give that a good knot. And then you can untie it if you're washing the hat, but I want this to be nice and secure here, so. Okay, so here's your finished elf hat. It has a nice big fluffy pom-pom. It's quick and easy to make. This is our nice baby size, so it's not going to fit a newborn. If you're wanting a hat for a little bit smaller baby, you'd want to make this a little bit smaller again, maybe reduce a couple rows to get a smaller hat. But your 6 to 12 month old, this is probably going to fit well. If they have a larger head, then just go up to the toddler size, which will be the next size. And we also have the child, ladies, and adult size in the pattern. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.